And I know the real practice here. See, internationally, with what you call publishing quality papers is similar. Wherever we are from India, or you are in Indonesia, or people are in UK, it's the same. But even then, let's have a kind of discussion on these things. Okay, right. So when we go to research, often when we think of research, we, especially as far as science people are concerned, they think of some lab, something to be really invented. Does it need something to be really invented to what do you call write a paper? So no. See, real inventions. See, for example, our zoology department, zoology and animal sciences department is a very what do you call senior research department, and they often publish papers whenever they invent something. But we are from social sciences and from languages. So what exactly when you think that you are ready to write a paper? Very simple question.
If I found something new?
Something
new in my expertise?
Yes. Something different, something which has not been what you call told to others, or you think that you want something, you have something new to tell us.
Sometimes I did that. I think it is different from the other.
Oh yeah, other. See, of course you go for the review of literature, and when you review it, you find that there is a research gap or something is lacking there, which you can contribute. Then you often write a paper, right?
Right.
Yeah. Do you agree? No. So let's see. So when you think of research, see, this is Google definition. I am sure that all of you can easily find it. The systematic investigation into the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusion. So if you have some facts and if you have a new conclusion about anything, already existing things. Because as far as language, for example, is concerned, we can have similar researches in different places. In social science, it is possible. Okay, research may be similar, but findings will be different because the population, the sample, all will be different. Okay, but there is nothing wrong in. So for writing a paper, usually it's not that big a thing. Okay, see, when we are youngsters, when we are doing research, we would think that writing a paper is something. But when we are seasoned researchers, I think when writing a paper is not that not that big a deal. But if you can keep the structure and the format very correctly, I think it won't be that difficult to get it published in Scopus or Web of Science journals. Okay. Because they have some requirements. They have some requirements which we will have to meet in our papers. Okay. And the research may be very simple thing. Recently I had published a paper along with 2 or 3 of Indonesian friends. That was regarding language. How this, and yesterday it was mentioned the day before yesterday it was that Mangutins. Okay, it's a kind of comic.
Yeah.
And how it can be effectively used in an English language classroom to make the whole thing interesting. Very simple. But it got published in a very good journal. Okay. So what I also collected some data from my country. So you can think of such collaborative research. You have to. Then naturally, when you have 4 or 5 people, right, in the as authors, you get very good citation. In fact, I was getting it very much. And the research gate and when you publish, they will give you the citation, and you can take it as a solid proof to your university when you need a promotion. For example, you are all, I think most of you are assistant professors. No, lecturers? Not assistant professors. So what is it? It's lecturers first, then senior lecturer, then assistant professor, associate professor. Professor, is that
assistant?
Yes.
You're an assistant of professor. Not associate professor.
No, that's I know.
You're assistant.
You're all assistant professors?
Yes.
Or do you are you lecturers?
Actually, we
You are at the same time lecturers and assistant professors?
Yes.
See, once you are assistant professors, you often do away with your designation of lecturers. Then you need not call yourself lecturers. You are already assistant professors. I don't call myself a lecturer and an associate professor. No.
It's a different.
Here?
We are teaching assistant.
We are teaching assistant. But,
Oh,
we
teacher
are
assistant.
teaching. We are the lecturer, but
Yeah, then time still I think, see in our place, first appointment would be like lecturers or teaching assistants. Then you have to complete some requirements. You need to have papers. You need to have papers. You need to have completed so many years to become an assistant professor. Then you should have more papers. You should have accomplished many things. You have to research. I am a research guy. I am also an associate editor of 2 or 3, international journals, and a peer reviewer. And when you have that status, you become an associate professor. Then next is professor. Maybe in 5 months I will be professor because I've been an associate professor for the last 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. So you need to complete 5 years plus to become an. That is years. That is a must.
How many publications?
Pardon?
How many publications? How many methods?
Now I am 25.
25.
But they have some requirements. It's not enough that we publish in any journal.
Wow.
They specify that there is a set of journals. Of course, Scopus, Web of Science journals are there. Then there is a list of journals recommended by UGC. That is University Grants Commission of India. So we have to publish in that journals. Then only it will be considered for promotion. Hope you got it. But you have to be very careful when you publish in Indian journals because there are some clone journals. Clone. See, they may have a print journal which is the authoritative one,
Yeah.
but with the same ISSN number, with the same link. Some people often create a clone journal. But if you publish in those journals, you will lose your money plus lose your pay. Because paper will be already published and it will be there. And if you try to publish the same paper with another journal, there will be problem of plagiarism. Yes. So be very careful. So I was telling them too. Okay. So not only there, I think there are many such journals available. So some of the journals are like that. So you have to be doubly careful when you publish it. It's not enough to say. And the best test is this. When you publish, if the publisher says that they will publish your papers in 2 days time, 3 days time, 4 days time, it's a predatory journal. It's a clone journal. That is the best thing. But if they say it will take another 1.5 months, or sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3 months to get your paper published, then it will be an original journal.
How much you have to pay?
Payment is different. Scopus they collect no money now.
Yes.
Scopus they collect.
Quite same with Indonesia.
Pardon?
Quite same with Indonesia. Indonesia is also there are some journals and it's called as predatory journal.
Predatory. That's the term. It's everywhere. So be careful about that. Okay, right. So Google the system. So it is when you reach a conclusion, when you have something new to tell your researchers and scholars, you can start writing the paper. Okay, Cambridge Dictionary says research is detailed study of a subject, especially in order to discover, that is, new information or reach a new understanding. So you need not always have discover something or invent something. But if you have a new understanding to give, in a new understanding to give the readers, the scholars, researchers, that itself can make a paper. Okay, right. Now, what is a research paper? Maybe a very simple, very simple question. It's a document published by researchers after conducting research into their field of study in any conferences, journals, and books. Okay, it's a piece of academic writing that provides analysis. Yeah, these are a few things that you should be careful about. There should be a kind of analysis, interpretation, and argument based on in-depth independent research. So you will always have an argument to put forward in your research paper. But when I'm a reviewer, so what sometimes I find some, especially in languages, it is just a narrative one. Simple narration, nothing else. They have collected, of course, it is no plagiarism. They have written in their own language, okay, but nothing substantial in that. There will be, especially in languages, not, I will never say it with, especially what you call mathematics or physics or social sciences. There's something because they will have some data, statistics data, clear ones. But in languages, not languages is okay. Language education is okay, but especially in literature. In literature, often they won't be, I think no one is doing writing papers in literature, right? Yes or no? No. Okay. If it is there, you have to be careful. Many of the literature papers are what they call sent back or returned by good journals because of this problem, because there is no problem. Analysis etc. will be there, interpretation also will be there, but there won't be an argument based in depth independence. You have to do something. Okay. And these are the components. I think this is, you are familiar with this. See, make sure that all these are there. I think I need not read. Title, of course. And when you give title, what I think we will be discussing that. How to select a research problem or topic. See, title and the abstract. How do you write an abstract often? Is it just the summary of your paper? No. Then?
Consists of the aims of the research and then the
objectives of the research.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the objective of the research and then the interpretation also and then the
Methodology should be mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here the abstract, of course, introduction and literature review, research method. But see, an abstract, because sometimes it is easy. See, we write an abstract. But most of the people or researchers and scholars read the paper after reading the abstract. So you should give something that should attract them or make them read the paper. Then only will get citation. Sometimes when we read, sometimes some abstracts are very flat.
Yeah.
Flat means we don't feel like reading the paper. So you should be careful because depending on your area of research, whenever you write an abstract should make other scholars and research read your paper. It should create an interest. Okay, keep that in mind. Abstract, introduction, literature review, research method, and in research method naturally, but sometimes some may be missing. It's okay. But often what happens is when we go by this method, many important aspects will be missing. See, objective, aim and objective should be 100% there, right? Literature review, what is the use of literature review in a paper? To place your research in the continuum of other researches. Yeah. How we got it?
And to find novelty.
Yeah, what is novel, what is new in that? Because otherwise, so here, see, so the literature review is important. But I see in many of the papers when I review, research review is totally absent. Which means you need to read the research area, the area of research, and then naturally you should place your research in the researches available there. Okay, keep that in mind always. I think you are doing it, okay, because you have published great papers. So it's understood. But whenever we go for that, we have to make sure that literature review should be there, and indeed the purpose of it is to tell the reader what has gone before in research in the same area. Okay. And you can place it. Then naturally, research method, you have to mention this aim and objective, research questions and research hypothesis. Hypothesis is also very important, okay? Okay, but sometimes we don't find. Sometimes because the difference. Sometimes some people think the research questions and hypothesis. Maybe it's all mixed up in papers. Research questions should be given in that way, and then naturally the hypothesis. Okay, maybe what you are. You can have null hypothesis. I think you're familiar, right? You can either prove or disprove your hypothesis. No problem. Both ways you get a paper. Either you can prove it or you can disprove it. See, right? Research samples are all samples. Population, if you're doing survey-based, such researches are there. So naturally, the population should be clearly mentioned, and then the sample should be mentioned, the respondents, participants, and of course the research tools that you have used. That will be the research. Then, of course, data analysis and discussion. What do you often use for data analysis and discussion? Not connected. Okay. Oh, I think that's been done later. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. Could you just get some no? I think here. Which one? Yes. Perfect. Oh, it's going somewhere now. Fine. Okay, so naturally that's it. Then data analysis and discussion, where data coding, interpretation of data. You often use in surveys what kind of SP, SSPs?
Data
Yeah. Okay. Means statistical data if you get qualitative. Yeah, that's it. So when you speak of quantitative and qualitative research, these days either a combination of qualitative and quantitative methods or more of qualitative is appreciated. That's what I find. I think it's the same here too. Internationally, more of qualitative, because when it's quantitative, a kind of manipulation is possible. And we do it. Yeah, I think because often it happens. Okay, so data or then findings and conclusions. Naturally, which is very important. Of course, references and appendices. Then, how to select a research problem for topic? Okay, see, often it is better that you go for. It should be done from your experience. Don't think that you can write a paper just from out of the blue or something like that. Sometimes we try that. Okay, but the best paper would be based on your experience. And naturally, whatever may be the problem, you should have this universalization of the problem, and it should be a workable topic. A topic which is workable. Right. Then availability of resources to conduct the research. That is also important. See, in literature, I can say sometimes people are very much fascinated by new authors, new writers. But what happens is they end up with no material. The primary, secondary, tertiary, that materials are not available. So they, with great ambition, they start the research, but then they have to stop. So you should make sure that the resources are available. Then identifying research gap problem, that is something very important. That's why we need a literature review. When we read literature in the same area, which has been already conducted, either from journals or from different resources, it should be in a position to fix it. The research gap should be fixed, and it should be something new. And nowadays, let me tell you, what are these subjects for your areas? Primary education. And I know she's, of course, elementary education. And then, sir? Management studies. Islamic education management. Okay, and elementary. Right. Oh, and you, ma'am? Okay, and you, sir? Same. Elementary. Okay, so depending on whatever be your area, see, you are identifying a research gap or a problem. There may be a research gap or a problem, and that can be done only after literature, proper literature review. You need to read, understand, okay, and analyze the researches which has got before. Okay, continuing the previous research study, and you can also continue or extend your researches. See, that is one way of getting more papers. See, one trick in getting more papers is like this. See, you might have studied a particular problem till a particular point. Okay, you can extend it for next paper. Next paper, yeah. That's a different paper. So what happens is you have two papers. See the area from one area, from one problem. See, that's why continuing previous research study further is also a very good research topic. And then you will feel at home. It will be easy for you sometimes. So that can be also thought of very seriously. Sometimes we think that for each paper we should have a new area. No, I don't think so. I don't know. I see the same area itself. There are different. See, even you can continue a previous research further. You have a paper. Maybe you have certain new findings which you have not included in this paper. Of course, naturally that can be extended as a new paper. So that is done. Even all Scopus and Web of Sciences are also recommending it. Okay, but see, often what happens is when we go to a new area, 100% new area for writing a paper, see the amount of work that we have to do. Okay, the amount of work that we have to do, and I think this is, of course, one is interest. One is then it's also part of professional development. Yeah, take it like that. It is a very important part of professional development. Yeah. Then only then if you publish like that, naturally you will have enough papers when you want to become an assistant professor, associate, because it all depends on number of papers you publish, the research work that you have done. And if it's possible, if you have time and space, okay, go for new areas every chapter. I don't mind. But see, we have other business. We are teaching from morning to evening, right? So there is nothing wrong in research. You might have found a lot of what you call new findings, and if there are sometimes this will lead to other findings. That should, that may be that material can be used very well for another field. And I think all international and peer-reviewed and indexed journals, take that papers. Okay, that's my experience. Okay, and also just way of getting maybe 1 or 2 or 3 papers from the same area, instead of going for a totally new area. But you have to be careful. And I tell you, see, when you go to a publisher, and when you have published a paper, then if it's an extended research, don't go to the same publisher. Better go to another publisher and so that otherwise maybe the same review will be reading this. Okay, so go to another publisher. You get 2 fresh, new, valuable papers.
The same area with this paper.
Yeah, pardon?
The same area with previous paper.
Previous paper. But yeah, findings, everything is different. See, finding, I said the area, but findings would be different maybe, and that is an extension of the findings which you have in this paper. That is often recommended. Okay. Then how to stand? I think these things are, since you, I think all of you have at least 10 papers minimum. Yes,
Yeah.
you have to. Yeah, right. So just you can go through collectively the research papers. This is something which is very useful. Okay, that is for research review, literature review, and also to find the research gap. Arranging properly based on different subtopics. Reading most relevant to your topic first. Yeah, you should read what is relevant to your topic first, and then the related areas, preparing the biography, okay, oh sorry, bibliography cards, very important, because often we read a lot, we have the materials, but we don't know the book which we read. And so when it comes to preparing the bibliography cards is an old method. Now you can do it here, okay, on what is called on computers or laptops, but you have to do it. Even when I was beginning, I had the same problem. And what happened when I had to present my thesis or submit my thesis, I had to go to at least 3 libraries again to collect, because when I collected, I thought some are not important, so I left it. Okay, usually what happens is we'll be collecting all this, and naturally we will be leaving some, think that it's not important. But when we do write the paper, sometimes after some we understand these are important, but I haven't made the bibliography. So naturally I visited 3 there, but I did on scholarship. So for me it was easy. I had the national scholarship for doing my PhD. So I was getting money inside. So I could travel everywhere, and I had a very nice time. I enjoyed it. But if you are spending money from your pocket and doing research, it won't be that interesting. The other one, because I could get my TA, my DA, everything. I can try to go on and get it. So that was quite interesting. So I traveled a lot of length and breadth of India, lot of libraries, and one of the best libraries for us is IFLU, English and Foreign Language University. That is in Central India. Okay. Then there is in Kashmir, Kashmir must be very good, because it's a place of debate between India and Pakistan. Or to be very specific, Hindustan and Pakistan. But let me tell you one thing. I think you people know the biggest number of Muslims live in Indonesia. The largest number of Muslims, which is the second country with largest number of Muslims. It is India. Yes. It's India. I think I thought at least for you it will be the largest number of Muslims country is Indonesia, and the second largest country with maximum number of Muslims is India, not Pakistan.
India is citizen in India is
Yeah, correct. But India is in population second largest country in the world, population wise. So when you take numbers, yeah, Devi is like whether this mic or not. Checking it. Because nowadays everything is in your fingertips. Okay, check it. Right. So here, what I was trying to tell you is even in my in your college, mobiles are banned. Okay. Before COVID, before the pandemic, mobile phones are banned in the college. The students can bring it, but they have to keep it in the silent mode or the switch off mode in their bags. But after COVID, every student has 2 or 3 mobile, because we cannot say anything. Even everything is fast. Google Classroom is there, right? Zoom meeting is there, Google Meet this side, Microsoft, and we have also Moodle. Moodle is LMS, Learning Management System in our university. LMS.
I want to know what in India the moderation of religions is most popular issue in there. Between Muslim and Hindu, and I think, and the others. In India is
What is the percentage?
moderation of religion.
You are asking me percentage? Percentage of people?
What religious moderation?
Moderation of religion is most popular issue in India.
Okay, but let me tell you that is because of the new government. Now Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister.
Religious diversity?
Pardon?
Religious diversity.
Yeah, and religious diversity is very much there. See, we have, of course, I am a Roman Catholic. I'm Catholic. Okay. See, there are of course, Hindus, And in Hindus there are different what do you call sects. Sects means there are higher what do you call sect, S-E-C-T, and there where you have Brahmins, often from the higher social ladder, then Vaishyas, Sudras, and that division is there. Then second is Muslims. Okay, and even there are different what I call categories there, different sects like Sunni and Shia, that division is there. Okay, then Christians. Christians you have what they call Roman Catholics, Protestants, Anglo-Indians, and there are in between Roman Catholics is one group. That's the biggest one. Then the smallest one you have other what you call Latin Catholics. Then we directly think that Pope is our head, Pope in Rome, in Italy. Okay. Then of course we have Buddhists. We have Jainism. Jain. That is another. You don't have it here. You have Buddhists here, right? Jainism is a religion. Not Chinism. Jainism. J-I-N-I-S-M. Jain. Jain is Jains. They are 100% vegetarians. Veg means they don't take egg. They don't even drink milk. 100% vegetarians. Vegans. You take everything. And another thing is Hindus don't take cow meat because cow is a sacred animal. But I think cow is quite popular here on the table. Right. Here in one hotel I will serve with what you call cow soup. I eat everything. I eat even a thing which you don't eat.
Sorry. Here's related diversity like us. Become popular issues on research.
Research.
In India.
In India. Yeah. In maybe which area you mean? See now, okay. Now India is promoting, not only India is promoting interdisciplinary research. Interdisciplinary. Okay. Instead of doing research in just one area, you have to do interdisciplinary research. Maybe in education, then psychology, and for example ELT. My research area is English language teaching, where there is of course a bit of philosophy. Philosophy is there, psychology is there, linguistics is there, language is there, literature is there. So everything together. And then, so in India now, even the papers will be accepted if it is interdisciplinary. Interdisciplinary. Even courses are designed now in interdisciplinarity. Okay, because we are living in a world of interdisciplinarity. Because pardon? What's it? You can have strange comments.
We have research about
we have research about moderation of religion.
Really? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. Moderation in the sense we have, but there are in a way, India, if you are writing, it is a secular country. Secular, 100%. Yeah. See, that is there in the constitution. India is not a Hindu country.
not only religions.
Yes. See, India is not. The only Hindu country in the world is, I've been there just before COVID. The only Hindu country in the world is Nepal.
Not India.
Not India. India is not a Hindu country. Okay? India is a secular country. But now, see, earlier Congress, who won freedom from British, was ruling the country. Now it is BJP. BJP is Bharatiya Janata Party, headed by Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi sir, and he has been ruling for almost 10 years. And India is also said to be the largest democracy in the world. Because China is the largest one, but it's not democracy, it's communist. Okay. So largest democracy in the world is India.
India.
And India is also and India is also having the largest railway network.
Very good.
Railway network. Okay, no, I'm just telling you about it, some information. And as far as religious foundation is concerned, around 70-75% are Hindus. Then 20-22% are Muslims. That's why big number. Christians would be just 2%. Then Sikhs, Sikhs, that turban wearers, turbans, Sikhs with long beard, they are Sikh people. It doesn't mean Sikh. Not S-I-C-K. You're Sikh, no. It is Sikh, S-I-K-H. Sikh people.
It's a religion.
It's a religion. It's a religion. We have Buddhists, we have Sikh, we have Buddhists, we have Jainism. Okay? So it's all. And so you see, and the catchword of catchphrase of India is a country with unity in diversity. And I think
Bhinneka Tunggal Ika in Indonesia.
Indonesia is
Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. The same It's a Sanskrit language.
language. Sanskrit is not the see, Sanskrit is basically the language of India. Sanskrit, their promotion. See, in fact, I did my MPhil. There is a course called MPhil. Doctorate is Doctor of Philosophy, right? But there is a research program in India called MPhil, Master of Philosophy.
Master of Philosophy.
Master of Philosophy. That's called MPhil, and that's a recognized degree. Okay, which is often done by students before PhD. MPhil, Master of Philosophy. Okay, so you are going to write a paper on religious moderation. Right, all together. Yeah, see, let it have some. You can also study something about what they call the elementary schools and the difference between elementary schools in India and also that of. If you want, I can help. Like I may send you government policies about education. So if you read through the elementary education policy, now you can have a paper, a comparative study of elementary education. You have one.
You know the government policy.
A policy, yeah. That's called education policy. That's it.
Can be collaborative research.
Yeah, that can be even if it's elementary or depending on that. I think I have some 8 papers with collaborative research with Indonesian friends. Yeah, like Andy Asifran. Those people there, no, we met yesterday. No, they were for the cultural. No, she was not there. No, for the cultural conference.
Yes.
There were so many from Makassar, Sulawesi, then Central Java. So many were there. Okay, because and I have some 8 papers written. Because I'll give the data of Indian data, they will have this data, some comparative study, something of that sort, and publish in good journals. Right. So this is okay. These are a few things which you can how to identify research tools. Okay. I think this is familiar to you, right? Whether you need a survey questionnaire, a structured or semi-structured interviews, performance test, real-time observation, recording, everything. Okay. Data collection on site. I think you do it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Then data interpretation. This is something which you have to be a bit careful because this is very much evaluated by reviewers.
Data interpretation.
Yes. How you interpret it in a way that will support your arguments. You have put forward some arguments. You have some research questions. So you have to be very close when you transform coding and when you do the data interpretation. I think you often use a statistical package, SPSS. You don't use this?
Yes.
Yeah, you use it, right? Right. Okay, so that is it. But then we'll go one by one, just go through it. I think it's simple. How to write a effective research paper title. Indicate accurately subject and scope of study, because especially in language, you have to be very careful about the title. Okay, I mean, I know in other areas. I think because avoid using abbreviations. We are not supposed to use abbreviations. Okay, unless and otherwise, if you want, I'll tell you. It's okay. I think I can share with you, because see, in India we have it was earlier. We have STD booths. STD means subscribers trunk dialing. If you want to call from your subscribers trunk dialing, STD is called subscribers trunk dialing. And earlier times we never had that facility at home. We'll have to go to booths. So almost all railway stations, bus stations, airport, there will be a lot of STD booths. Okay, but you know the international what you call abbreviation or the expansion of STD. When Europeans come, they said, "Oh, India is often said to be a third world country, but they are so cautious and so they have so many STD booths, and STD for them is sexually transmitted diseases." Transmitted diseases. That is the international expansion for STD. So you have to be very careful when you use STD, and you will know when you use abbreviation. Okay, you may be using an abbreviation here. For example, LPG. For example, what is LPG? Liquid petroleum gas. But that is for countries like ours. LPG maybe in the modern world it stands for liberalization, privatization, and globalization. See, if you're writing LPG and sending it to a social scientist, they will never, they'll be confused. Because LPG stands for liberalization, privatization, globalization. LPG, not liquefied petroleum gas. So these things, because it happens even to seasoned researchers, because sometimes those abbreviations are so ordinary for us that we write it. But when the researchers or the reviewers from other countries, they say, "What is this?" Because they are familiar with what is called this.
What is LPG?
What is LPG? Yeah, that's why LPG appears here. Okay.
Be careful to international. What is IMA stands for?
That monetary.
Monetary.
Yeah. So association.
So
International Monetary Association.
IMA.
World Bank. IMA. Yeah. I was to answer IMA. Yes, yes. So these are all. So what I would like to tell you as young researchers, be very careful about abbreviations. Okay. Because otherwise, you should give it in. Nowadays there's a practice. Or else you have that words used, no? After abstract, we often keywords. There it has to be clearly mentioned, and abbreviation should be bracketed. That's it. Okay, some very small tips, okay, but sometimes it is because big. Your paper will be returned saying that, and then you'll have to explain that is LPGs, which will not liquid petroleum gas. Okay, so indicate accurately subjects, avoid using abbreviations, that's it. Use words, create a positive impression and stimulate reader interest. That's what I said. Because the title, see, now I have a very good research scope in many of the, ResearchGate is a usual say. Just because what I did was I had collaborative publication. Instead of myself, one from me, one from Indonesia, another from maybe Netherlands, another from Germany if possible. Then naturally the readership, and we will give all this to our students. The professor, they will be giving those to German students. The professor in Indonesia will be giving to her students, and myself to Indian students. So naturally what happens is, there are citations will be more, because the citation index is nowadays very important. Use words, create positive, then use current nomenclature. What is nomenclature? names. Nomenclature means names from field of study. Always use current nomenclature. Current means, see, certain words or names would have been changed. See, they may be using certain names before, now the names have changed. So try to use that. Okay? It should reflect the tone of writing. Okay? The research paper should reflect the tone of writing, the title. Then it should contain important keywords that will make it easier to be located during keyword search. This is something very important. Last point is very important because then people give keyword searches, searching for your article or an article in that area. So only if you use these keywords in your research, in your title, they will hit on your article. Then you may get a citation. Otherwise, your paper may be a good one, it is there, but when the keyword search is done, they will never reach your paper. Okay, so that is a very important point. Because this is a word, see, I think, I don't know whether you have heard that in India, UGC came out with a dictate. Publish for teachers, all of us. It's like this, publish or page. Okay, publish or page. That's it. Okay, so,
how we create a positive impression for our interview?
Yeah, see here, that depends on, see, use words create positive impression to stimulate the reader. That depends on different areas. Okay, in each area, maybe if it is language area, for example, you have to use, as you said, the new trends. The paper may be, one second, paper may not be that new. Your research may not be that new. Yeah, but you can use the new names and new trends. Okay, title it is okay. So naturally they say, oh, for example, I'll tell you one example. In literature, nowadays, very there for the cultural fest, where she spoke about modernism. Modernism is, there is only one truth in discussion. Postmodernism, many truths. But now, it's a time of post-truth. Post-truth. If I use post-truth in my title to explain an earlier number of truths in postmodernism, see, people with post-truth, they will just read the paper. Yeah, it is impressive. It makes the whole, article impressive. Okay, so I think you will also find such terms in your area of research. Latest trends. So try to incorporate, our paper may not be that latest. It cannot be always. But if the title say, because this post-truth can be also used in more postmodernism. Okay, so that's how you make it a bit impressive and yes. Abstract, as I say, if you answer these questions, your abstract will be correct. No, full. Questions that can that an abstract answers. Why do you do this study or project? What did you do? What did you find? What do your findings mean? Okay, so naturally we should give a brief overview of your work, especially highlighting your research method, sample and findings. As somebody said, research method should be mentioned, sample and findings should be mentioned. It is not a summary, okay? It's not often a summary. See, it is a summary of our body of information. It expresses the main claim and argument. Main claim should be mentioned, then only they will read the main claim of your research paper should be mentioned in the abstract.
It is not, sorry sir, it is not a summary, but it should reflect our...
Yes, it's something like that. It is a body of course, but it's not just a summary that we write, but instead certain hints with all these sample findings, research method, etc. It should give them hints and it should inspire them or provoke them to read our paper. So naturally, what we need is not enough that we can write any number of papers and sometimes people will publish it. But nowadays, I think for our promotions, etc., our research index, our research scope, our citations, everything everything is important. So we should have that. Okay. So it should be brief, as I said, not very lengthy. How to write an introduction of a research paper? That is not that difficult. Okay, a broad outline, specific outline, introduce your topic. Make sure that you quote important ideas from relevant research papers. That's all. Okay. Literature review, very important. What is the present state of knowledge regarding the topic under consideration? You know that. How are the studies related to one being proposed? What is the quality of the studies reviewed? How will the proposed study contribute to existing literature? How to write a literature review? I think this is familiar to you. Methodology. To demonstrate that you are aware of research method. Yeah, this is something important. When you write methodology, it is not enough you just write methodology. But you should demonstrate that you are aware of the research methods used in this study topic. Sometimes we simply write or copy in our own words. Right? Research methodology often is being copied in our own words. But no. But instead, take a little more time. That's it. Because we don't pay attention to all these methods. Often that's yeah. Because we are interested in our findings and things like that. So these things we just pass. But our reviewer can easily find out whether you have given attention to writing your research. Because they are doing this every day. They are familiar. So they are in a way experts too. So when they read, they would understand, yeah, of course he has concentrated on his findings, but research methodology is lacking something. Here the abstract is not up to the mark. Then introduction can be improved. The whole paper has to be improved. Okay, so that is something. Justify the research method and approach you have taken on your study. Then you explain and justify the method of data collection and analysis. Okay, that is the methodology part. How to frame objectives. This is something important. To try to have unambiguous research questions and objectives. See, when you write a research question, it should be 100% clear, crystal clear. It should not be ambiguous. If you write an ambiguous question, that means you have not prepared to write that research paper. Reviewers will read the questions and there are instances they will send back the paper. Because if it is 100% clear to the point, you have understood the matter that you are going to research. If it is confusing, if it is not what you call clear, which means you haven't done proper study. Do not have too many research questions. That is out of date. Earlier it was not one. Maybe one. You can have a paper if that question is that in depth. One is enough. But otherwise we often have three. Do not then keep the end in your mind. Very important. When you frame research questions, you should have the end in mind. Otherwise, you will never reach the end. You cannot complete the paper. See, you should have also the expected end. When you frame it, you should have that expected end. How are you going to end your research? That should be there. Though it is written in the beginning of the paper, often it is written after the research. The other one you will be writing in draft. You will have to polish, rewrite research questions many times. Okay. Before you send the paper. Write analysis, use table of this is which you do. You will get it. Okay. Present analysis based on your objectives and research questions. Try to bring logical flow. That is from your part. Then conclusion. This is something very important. Some reviewers read only what? Research questions, conclusions, and then method. Your abstract, your introduction, literature review they will do sometimes. Because this is the crux of the paper. So sometimes if they are busy, sometimes they don't read or they don't pay much attention to that. Okay, write conclusion based on your research. Make sure you answered all your research questions. Very important. That's why when you write your research questions, you should answer all the research questions in the conclusion. And if there are some research questions which you have written, and if you don't have an answer, remove it from the no problem. We can see the question. Yeah, see that often is being done.
Yeah.
You cannot answer all the questions because the research is not that predicted one. You are doing it and you have the results, and sometimes some questions may not be answered at all in your research. Then don't keep the question there.
Yes.
Remove.
And it should be in line with the objective of the research.
Everything. Yeah. So that's why when writing a paper is not that easy, in fact. And once you are seasoned, when you write many papers, then it becomes. Mention the limitations of the study should be mentioned these days. Limitations. What you have not approached in the study. So that will be an eye opener for other researchers. That's why you are asked to read other articles. You can begin a research maybe from the limitations of the study. And extension can be done. I said no, from the area 2 or 3 papers. Extension can be done from the limitations of your study. That is the point where you can extend your research and write another paper. Some areas you might have not concentrated. Some areas you might have left in your research. That can be, in a way, addressed in the research. Okay. So, mention the limitations of your study. Then, future scope of the study is often given. The scope. What you have done your research, and of course it will have a future scope. What others can do. See, suppose you have a survey and you have a study conducted in Malang, and you have excluded all other variables from all other part of Indonesia. So you can say this study can be, in a way, what we call extended or applied maybe in Sulawesi or for all of Indonesia. Your study is just limited to Malang. Okay? Or a few universities in Malang. That can. So that's future scope of your study. Then of course, what do you follow, MLA or APA? So it's American Psychological Association. The other one is modern, but in India all linguists, all literature people follow MLA, Modern Language Association. It's a 9th edition now. APA is the edition that you have always refer to the latest edition. AP has not so many revisions, but Modern Language Association has gone for 9th edition of MLA Handbook. MLA Handbook, which speaks about the research methodologies. Okay, so these are the main areas. These are differences for MLA format and APA format. Differences, main differences. Because when you get a paper, when you read an article, you should make sure in what format that they are there. Main differences, okay. MLA format is author's last name, first initial, publication date comes there. This is MLA, Modern Language Association format, and the other one is APA. Okay. Of course, I am sure that you will have appendices too. Press the relevant details such as letters. You appended, no? Appended, what will you think in your research? Appendix means even for papers they often have. If it's a short one, in order that will increase the credibility of your research. If there are good, what I call appendices that can be added, because it always what do you call, increases the credibility of research. Credibility means, you know, see, just an example of a blotted, and when you write a research paper, it should be academic writing. I don't know how many of you seriously think of it. See, there are different types of writing. For example, journalistic writing, writing for newspapers. Creative writing. What is creative writing? For fiction, poetry, creative writing. And what we use in the academics is academic writing. See the difference between these two sentences. A social media influencer is an influencer who helps to integrate the credibility of specific. See how intact is this? The same sentence is written here. Social media influencers are users of social media who use their credibility to increase engagement for specific. This is academic writing. Second one. The other one is blotted writing. There are repetitions, redundancies. So this is the difference. You should write like this when you write an academic paper. Don't just write whatever comes to your mind like that. It has to be well proved, edited.
More effective.
Yeah, more effective. A few words, but more effective. See, next one. In the novel A Farewell to Arms, written by Ernest Hemingway, the author presented courage theme. This theme displays honorable courage and defense. See the other one. Ernest Hemingway's novel, A Farewell to Arms, features characters enduring difficult wars and displaying honorable courage. See, so many written. This is a difference. These two are examples of academic writing. Whenever we write, we should write like this.
Wordy and flowery.
Yeah, wordy, flowery, and at the same time there's a lot of redundancies. That is not academic language. So for this reason, sometimes papers are returned. Your language is not academic. Yeah, your language is not academic, so you know it's for revision. You can remember how many times do we revise. And another thing, when you send papers, if it comes back, don't worry, don't get dejected. Again you send, again it may come back, don't worry. But with final, you will get to publish in a very good job. Maybe Scopus or something. So sometimes people stop writing papers when two come back. When they return, oh no, I think nothing works and they get dejected. No, it is usual. Papers do come back. Papers are returned by reviewers. And sometimes if you send the same paper to another reviewer, he may accept it totally. Another journal. Okay, so it's not our problem. Okay. So, but if you keep this in mind, especially regarding language, because language matters. What I find often in English, especially in Indonesia, because these people send often, I mean there are mistakes sometimes. Mistakes. So I think when you write papers, right, when elementary education, etc., it's better that you give the paper after writing maybe to your colleague from English department and ask them to just correct the mistakes. There's nothing wrong because that is their duty. They are English teachers.
Of course.
Yeah, so I mean there's nothing wrong. And maybe you can, the English teachers can get statistical help from the mathematics or statistics department, no problem. We do it. Okay, because sometimes we need help, especially for analyzing things like that. So, this is something important. Academic language should be used in your writing if the paper is to be accepted. Otherwise, sometimes papers are returned for the only reason that the language is not academic. Yeah, that's it. Varying sentence structure in order to escape plagiarism. Oh, yeah, sure. She's the moderator and my last time too.
Timekeeper.
Yeah. She keeps time well. Okay. Yeah, we have to be.
Timekeeper.
Thank you. Right. So see, use varying sentence structure. What is it? Varying. See, don't use the same sentence structure. Varying structures should be used. Okay. See, sometimes all our sentences will be similar. It happens often, beginners. But no, you have to be careful when you write. Okay? Yeah. So that is it. I think you understood it. Tip 4. I think I stop with this. Tip 4 academic writing. I think you know this. Avoid using all for beginners. Okay. Acknowledge, otherwise plagiarism. Very important. Acknowledge knowledge sources. Give it in the bibliography. Or else it will be plagiarism. If you acknowledge it, it's okay. Acknowledge it. If you give the book, name of the book in the bibliography, pages, things, fine. Otherwise it is plagiarism, right? Avoid use of blogs, Wikipedia and other commercial websites for as resources. Sometimes it may not work. Some good journals don't accept. Even now, though we are in a digital world, we are in a information era, and we get maximum information from the net. Even now, many of the journals don't accept references from this. They try to refer from genuine sites and our books. Avoid bullets and numbering in academic writing. That depends on the subject. Avoid phrases that depict personal thoughts. No personal. Present your paper in proper format. Very important. Many of the papers are returned by journals because you are not keeping their format. You have a format with you. It is okay, it's word accepted. But they may give you a format. Keep that. Or if you have a journal written, an article written in one format, don't worry. Turn it into their format when you send paper to that. And if you are sending a paper to another journal, again change it. It's easy. Font size and things. Then avoid phrasing. Then do not plagiarize your paper. Plagiarism from your own paper is wrong because it is there. Sometimes we have to, this is my paper, I wrote it, why can't I write it here? No, never do it. Okay. Plagiarism from your own paper will be caught and you will be penalized. Do not wander off from the topic. That is especially for we English people, literature. You people don't do that. We will be wandering like that, going away from the topic for no reason. Don't do it. Every day, spoken language is not academic language. Don't write as you speak English. Academic. Don't, because written English is different from spoken English. Even the spoken discourse markers like okay, well, we never use it in writing. Where you have to be nevertheless, in short, to white, such words. We don't. So everyday spoken language is not academic language, but when you are a seasoned, when you write, it will be okay. In the beginning, all this will be big problems in the day of faith. Use sufficient referencing and citation. And use sufficient. Don't just write a paper and have 3 citations or no, you have to cite. Or the bibliography just 3 minutes. No. Big paper of maybe 10, 12 pages. You should properly support your arguments. So these are a few things, okay? Just there is just a discussion, okay? Maybe an interaction which you may take something from that, right? And if you have questions, how many minutes more now?
12 minutes more.
12 minutes, okay. Something very general. Or else, I ended my sessions with saying something about my place, something about Shah Rukh Khan, something about something about Kajol. Yes.
Is any minimum number to meet sufficient?
Usually a paper should be at least 3,000 words. But the word number will be usually given by the journal. They will tell you how much. 3,000 to 4,000 words. But there are also 2,500, 3,000 words minimum. But there are certain foreign journals, they will tell you to write your paper in 1,500 words. But the problem is, it may not be accepted by our university.
And for the number of sufficient references?
References
Source,
means
yeah,
source references. See, don't keep a paper. Let it be at least 10. 10 to 12 minimum, I say. But I have seen papers with 3. They say it's a original, most original writing.
Most original.
Yeah, because I'm not referring to anyone, but not most original. No, don't be so original. Okay. No, so we have seen all types of papers. Then anything else? Enough.
Thank you.
Enough. Because they were sitting with me from the morning. So sir.
It must be tiring for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, personal.
I've lost my, yeah. Because continuously speaking for so many hours is bit tiring. And especially speaking in English. If it was in Malayalam, my own mother tongue, see, I may be a bit more comfortable because English is often said to be having an aggressive system. You know, English teachers here, where when we speak English, we push out air. And if you keep your hand like this, you can feel it when you speak English. Voiced and voices. But when you speak Malayalam, it's very cool, no, all flat. I can really speak. There's a difference. So when you speak English, being a second language speaker, I have to put in effort. Right? And then it's a bit tiring too. Yes. Then what else?
About the indexing journal in India. In Indonesia, we have a SINTA, accreditation of journal. How about in India?
In India also we have that kind of accreditation. This I know because I publish only if a journal in Indonesia is accredited by this. Because I have published, I said, some 7 or 8 papers, of course in collaboration with teachers here, language and education teachers. Right. There also we have this list of journals given by UGC, as I said, and they are called UGC Care Listed Journals. UGC stands for University Grants Commission. That's a central government body. They have given a list of journals, indexed. It is called Care Listed Journals, CARE, CARE, Care Listed Journals. And if you publish in that, it's 100% taken by all government institutions and things like that. But you have international indexing like Scopus, right? Then, you see, if you get a chance to publish, you should go for Scopus Index or Web of Science. Then Thomson Reuters, such indexing is also there. Google indexing is there. Yeah, no, that is the lowest maybe. I think almost all journals are indexing by Google.
Some of us is editor in our journal.
Really?
Yes.
You're editors?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'm an editor of that Gafur sir, no? From, I think where is he from? Madura. They have a journal. I am Madura. I'm a reviewer and editor there in their journal. I am Madura. But sir had come, Gafur, Abdul Gafur. Gafur. You're very, what do you call, articulating it. Gafur. We say Gafur. Yeah, Gafur is a very common name in India. India, yeah. Gafur. But we say just Gafur. But you say Gafur. Yeah. Yes. Kapoor is different. That is Raj Kapoor. That's Bollywood. Kapoor. Ranbir Kapoor. The new sensation. New sensation. Sensation means for young teenagers. There are so many fans. That is new is this one. Alia Bhatt. Yeah, Alia Bhatt. Ranbir Kapoor. There's so many Ranbir Kapoor. And the older generation have Raj Kapoor, Rishi Kapoor.
Kareena Kapoor.
Yeah, Kareena Kapoor. Kareena Kapoor is in fact the daughter of Ranbir Kapoor. Her father was also an actor. Then Kareena Kapoor is there. Karishma Kapoor.
It's like
Kareena Kapoor.
But she became, I think, viral in my university and also in my state. There were so many photographs of hers. Okay. Because both of us were standing together for that cultural fest.
Picture, yeah.
Yeah. And if you come to India, they will say, oh, I saw you with Vargheese sir, right? I think it's some So that's why she has become viral, I say. With that saree, nice. And the problem was, in fact, that dress, Devi ma'am, that dress is, in fact, a bridegroom's dress. It's a bridal dress, which I was wearing that day. It's like no, I was wearing a dress. No, you need
Oh, the color.
the color, yeah, color and also the attire, especially the cap. We don't usually wear that. And Mutmaina has also shared, and I think it has become viral through Andia Sifran, Muhammad Ghafoor, and Mutmaina, then Risa of Uniro, Christina, and then the two others, Almira and Lulu. Yesterday was. I think. And they all of them have that photos in their status too. This should, because these are the photos. You know this turban, no? This turban. Turban means this cap. Turban.
In Indonesia, turban is turban.
Turban. Okay. So that is often misunderstood.
How about your wife?
No, I sent it to my wife too. No, this is traditional cultural fest in Indonesia. But two interesting, very interesting comments which came from my university. One is, I'll tell you. One is that I had taken, this was another photo. And this poster is very much appreciated. No, I sent them, not this one. No, this photo was sent. No, only myself. Okay. So what happened was, they said that, this one. Yeah, first one. When I was coming, where is that? Hari said he'll have a photo, and he took my photo like this. Okay, and I did share it. So like this. I shared it. When it was shared, when my department and my university people said, Dr. Vargheese is not going to come back. It seems has been anointed as the king of Indonesia. That was the first comment. Then followed the second photo. They said, it seems he got married again. Yes. With us, So that was the comments that I received from my university, and I don't know what would happen to me when I reached it. And no, they even thought of a new appointment. See, I'm here, right? So they can appoint another person in my place. No, all joking. Right? Yes. I thought she became very serious. What, this man is going to be here? Huh? I was just joking.
Yeah.
That's it. So anyway, nice interacting with you, and Finally, I was just telling them, most of you have watched the movie of Shah Rukh Khan, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you should also watch some of his wonderful movies. This is nothing to do with research. You can also research in the Malayalam movies, Bollywood movies, because we are doing it. As literature, language, we are interested. Okay, there what happens is, and you can research on how films influence young children. Yeah, when elementary students, how, and how you can, we also in English we use film clippings to teach students. I think you are doing it. Multimedia means certain, useful, value-based film clippings are often used to teach, because students will be very influenced with, when we say something, they may not listen to it. But when Shah Rukh Khan says, when Salman Khan says, they will take to it. That's it.
Yes.
Easy. And there are such value-giving messages often given by these film stars in films. Okay. Even in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I think, small things happen, right? Yes. Then there's another wonderful movie by Deepika Padukone and Shah Rukh Khan, and it is titled Chennai Express.
Oh, Chennai.
Chennai Express, where he says, don't ever underestimate the quality of a ordinary person.
Yes.
Never
It's
underestimate.
very Pakistan and Pakistan. Right?
Yeah. And also watch another movie, very interesting movie. See, I think Kuch Kuch Hota Hai is very famous here. Everyone knows it. But a movie which is more famous than Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, which was screened one whole year in many theaters without break, is Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. Wonderful movie. And I think one of the group of friends, I showed a song also that, what is it? Tujhe dekha Okay, so that in fact, so next, I think you also have a very strong film industry here. Acha? And
Indonesian movie in India, sir.
no. But all our teenagers are great fans of Korean dramas. Even everyone, they sit. My daughter, who is studying in 9th standard, whenever she gets a chance, she speaks. And whenever she gets a chance, and I told her once that I'll think of getting her married to a Korean guy. Because always watching Korean movies. Yeah, full time. Korean, they so many. And when I interact with your students too, they said also even Indonesian youngsters watch Korean drama. Very common. They like it very much.
Yes.
Okay. Very simple movies, but interesting. All teenage love stories.
Some big and famous producer of Indonesian movie in Indonesia comes from India.
Yes.
From Punjab.
Yeah.
Punjabi, man of Punjabi.
Oh,
Very,
right.
yeah, very famous here and
Oh.
very big.
And they are producing Indonesian
Yes.
movies. But we don't find Indonesian movies there. We'll have to search for it maybe on YouTube. But no one watches it. But Korean movies are very popular. They watch so many Korean movies. Anything else you want to know from me about India? Acha is good.
What is the meaning of acha-acha?
Good.
Oh.
Acha is good. Nahi means no. No. Acha is good.
Baik.
Bye.
In Indonesian, baik.
Bye is good.
Baik.
Bye for good.
Yes.
Oh.
Baik.
Even I think Dr. L-I-K-E, like.
Litter.
So no. Yes, I call him Lick, but even if you see liquor. But that's an English word. Like, so I was wondering. I thought there are some other words maybe following this. I was wondering, but then I saw only L-I-K-E, and you say lick. Lucky is common. Whatever. There are people whose name is Lucky Day. Lucky also. If literature students maybe know that great absurd play titled Waiting for Godot. There one character's name is Lucky. One is Lucky, another is Poso. Lucky and Poso. Okay, fine. So anything else from you want to know from India?
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. So
Stay healthy, stay happy, sir.
thank you. Same to you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and let you become, as I wished with other lecturers to, maybe assistant, associate professors, full professors, and with becoming architect. All the best. So it was nice interacting with you all. I really enjoyed it.
Take a picture.
Oh, yeah, the picture. I think this is my 4th picture today.
How many?
No, I was.
You can be sent with
No, she's Devi, right?
Yes.
You know there was one great Bollywood actress. She's still there. She's called Sri Devi. Sri Devi.
Oh, Sri Devi.
Oh.
Your partner gave me
Sri Devi, yeah. Sri Devi is from South India. Many of very beautiful, one more thing. Devi ma'am, see many of the beautiful actresses in Bollywood are from South India. Will sit here? Here, this side or that? But I think the light is more clear because even these pictures were a bit dark. This lighting is perfect.
Oh, di sini.
This is like this.
Kau sepak. Sepak.
Mine too.
Foto sopo?
You will send me this.
Oh iya, Miss. Miss Ima. Miss Ima, Ya, Miss Ima.
Okay. Should we stand? Or we stand? This time. She's a bit afraid now. She's a bit afraid. But no, see in this days you no one will recognize you. You are so different yesterday and today.
One, two, three, cut.
This one, yeah, this I never tried.
Sama here. Wait.
Like this.
There, like this. Bitches.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's my photo. Kira nama dia.
Oh,
See, this is Indonesian bahasa Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
But in Hindi it is ek, do, teen.
Satu, dua, tiga, itu.
1, 2, 3.
Cepret.
1, 2,
First
3.
scan. Yeay, cepat.
1, 2, 3.
Sudah.
Okay, thank you. So nice meeting you all.
Yes,
And
thank you.
you write it down.
Where is the English teaching? Education.
Yeah, education.